This is Dr. Mahima Bakshi and आज का जो मेरा टॉपिक है फॉर डिस्कशन इज अबाउट द न्यू IVF एंड सरोगेसी लॉ इन इंडिया. कल मैंने ये न्यूज देखा दैट मूजवाला's मदर चरण कौर हैज गॉटन प्रेग्नेंट एट द एज ऑफ 58 थ्रू IVF. और बहुत ही मिक्स्ड रिएक्शंस आए हैं लोगों के. कई लोगों को ऐसा लगता है इट्स अ पर्सनल चॉइस. अगर एक कपल प्रेगनेंसी प्लान करना चाहता है सो वी शुड नॉट हैव एन इशू विद इट, नो मैटर वो किस एज में प्रेगनेंसी प्लान करना चाहता है. लेकिन इसके कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या हैं, लीगैलिटीज क्या हैं, एंड एक्चुअली में व्हाट इज द एज लिमिट थ्रू विच अ कपल कैन एक्चुअली अंडरगो IVF टू गेट प्रेग्नेंट. सो बहुत सारे सवाल मेरे मन में आए हैं एंड आई रियली वांट टू नो कि हमारा जो रीसेंट लॉ है इंडिया में विच इज द न्यू ART सरोगेसी लॉ, वो क्या कहता है कि व्हाट इज द राइट एज, व्हाट आर द लीगैलिटीज, एंड देयर इज सो मच ऑफ चेंज दैट इज कम इन टू द न्यू सरोगेसी ट्रीटमेंट एज वेल इन इंडिया. सो फाइंड आउट करते हैं. तो मेरे जो आज के गेस्ट हैं दैट इज मिस्टर नितिज मुर्दिया, who is the co-founder and medical director of who's the co-founder and managing director of Indira IVF and is also an expert member of the National ART and Surrogacy Board. So I would like to quickly add Mr. Nitiz to the live chat. So can you please send me a request? Hamari live audience is all set. So till the time he's going to join our live session, I'm also going to share with you all. तो मैंने एक audience poll भी किया था. Hi Nitiz, how are you?
Hi, all well. How are you?
Yes, so super interesting topic for today, and we have a lot of people who've joined in also. So मैं बात कर रही थी कि मैंने एक live poll भी किया audience के साथ, and I asked them that should there be an age limit or not? And interestingly, I got 30% people saying yes, 26% people saying no, and 43% people said it should be a personal choice of the couple.
Okay, that's
So
very
the
interesting.
majority of people are saying कि it's a personal choice and we should not actually say anything about it कि age limit होना चाहिए कि नहीं. So I'm also quite surprised because मुझे लगा था कि लोग कहेंगे कि yes, because when we look at the baby, तो जब बेबी बॉर्न होगा और जब वो बड़ा होगा और पेरेंट्स की उस टाइम पे क्या एज होगी, उस हिसाब से आई फील कि एज लिमिट डेफिनेटली इज इम्पोर्टेंट, कीपिंग द चाइल्ड्स फ्यूचर आल्सो इन माइंड एंड द मदर्स सेफ्टी आल्सो इन माइंड. सो आज की डिस्कशन के लिए आई एम ऑल सेट. So we have more people joining in for a live chat. So guys, if you have any questions, please keep sending your questions during the live session and we'll keep answering your questions as well. So मेरा पहला सवाल जो आपसे है वो है कि actual age limit IVF के लिए according to the new law in India क्या है?
So let me just start with what you started as a poll and then you finished saying a statement. So I think government का जो प्रोसेस है इस पूरे एज को डिफाइन करने के पीछे वो ये है कि द एवरेज एज ऑफ इंडियन लिविंग इन इंडिया इज 68 ईयर्स. तो इन्होंने जो फीमेल की एज है वो 50 इज द मैक्सिमम एज फॉर अ फीमेल टू अंडरगो ART. व्हेन वी से ART, it comprises of IUI and IVF as a treatment. So I'm referring ART as a combination of IUI and IVF treatment. The second is the age of the male is fixed to not more than 55 years. So thought process यही है कि जब baby like 68 years assuming that is an average age, तो baby की age at least 13 years होनी चाहिए when their father is at that age of 68, and the age of the baby should be 18 years when the mother is at the age of 68, right? This is the thought process. So as per the law which got released in December 2021, any female जिसकी एज 21 से 50 है और एनी मेल जिसकी एज 21 से 55 है वो ART ट्रीटमेंट इंडिया में करा सकता है. It is not only limited to couples, but even a single female can undergo a IVF treatment provided her age is between 21 and 50 years.
Okay, interesting. So even single women can go in for IVF according to the new law.
Yes, that's true,
Okay.
which was a bit unclear before, but now it's a law. And also, a lot of people, as per your poll, was saying that it should be left to the couple. Of course, that is what everyone wants, freedom to choose. But we live in a country, the country and the people of the country is governed by the law.
Yeah.
And we, as the citizens of the country, has to follow the law. So if the government has made a law, it becomes our, responsibility to follow it.
Absolutely. I think imagine when the child growing up and was going for the board exams and the parents being really old. I think उस time पे उस बच्चे के ऊपर एक parents की responsibility भी होगी to take care of parents, and they might go through health issues, and at the same time focusing on his studies or her studies. So I don't know if it'll be fair enough with that child, and hence I think actually में एक law होना जरूरी है जिसके through एक age limit define हो सके.
True, true.
So my next question is, if we talk about people, couples, जहाँ पे post menopause section की अगर हम बात करें, आजकल we see a lot of women going through early menopause also. We see women in late 30s or early 40s also undergoing menopause, wherein definitely when the period is stopping. तो उसके बाद, if a couple wants to undergo IVF and will require donor eggs, so in that case, what is the legal the new law? What does it say? Is it okay for them to undergo it? And again, what are the criteria for it?
Right. So one thing that this law has brought into place is the ART bank, right? So ART bank is a separate entity जो ART clinic से अलग है. अभी किसी भी कपल को अगर डोनर्स की जरूरत पड़ती है, अगेन द एज इज डिफाइंड फॉर द डोनर्स, एज पर द एक्ट, एंड एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी रूटेड थ्रू द एआरटी बैंक. तो अभी जैसे मान लीजिए, इफ आई एम अ कपल विथ माय वाइफ एंड आई नीड अ डोनर, I will have to go to the ART bank and source the donor. The donor age has to be for a male between 21 to 55, and for a female between 23 to 35. This is the age limit defined by the law for the donors who can donate their gametes to the couple.
Hmm.
Second is, um, पहले ये चीज क्लियर नहीं थी लॉ से पहले कि वो अनोनिमस होना चाहिए या नोन होना चाहिए या क्या होना चाहिए, बिकॉज पहले लॉ नहीं था. तो प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि इफ यू आर गेटिंग अ स्पर्म और एग फ्रॉम अ नोन पर्सन, there are legal complications which may arise in the future. There may be cross cases on the property and other things, right? But now, since there is a law, and the law says that, um, एक बार अगर किसी ने डोनेट कर दिया, you have to relinquish your right on the child. So you don't have any right on the child. So now it becomes very safe. And that is why the biggest change that the law brought into place is that even the known donors are allowed. Even, male or female who are not married, they can also donate, right? So the gambit of donation has increased. Non-married people can donate. There is no anonymity clause. Even the known donors are allowed to donate. So this is the biggest change I think that the law has brought into place.
That's nice. That's quite nice. And we also see when there are films like Vicky Donor, or we saw Badhai Ho. These kind of films, when they get released and the audience sees कि अच्छा Badhai Ho में Neena Singh can conceive at that age and become a mother. या Vicky Donor में the guy goes and donates sperms, and it got a lot of normalcy in the audience कि sperm donation is okay. So अगर हम donation की बात करते हैं, the gamete donation, when we say that donating your gametes, whether it's an egg donor or a sperm donor, उसके क्या criteria है if somebody is interested to do it?
Right. So I think, from the point of view of couples who are unable to conceive and requiring a donation, for them it's a very emotional aspect to think कि हमको खुद का gametes नहीं लेना है और we have to go for a donor. It's a very emotional and a very it's a big decision for them to make, right? But when it comes to donor, there are few changes with this law has brought into place. The first thing is that one donor to one recipient, right? So you, like previously what used to happen, एक स्पर्म डोनर ने डोनेट करा, उससे मल्टीपल वाइल्स बना दी, एंड दैट इज गोइंग टू 8, 10, 20, 15, what many number of couples, right? There is a lot of problem with consanguinity, where let's say if I am a donor and I have a defective gene, right, and I donate to multiple people, the same gene gets replicated to multiple people and the offsprings might have issues. So to restrict this aspect, and also, after 50 years, just imagine if a person has donated to, 50 couples, there may be marriages happening in the same family
Yes.
because one gene is coming from the same family. And because of this consanguinity issue, there will be problem with these couples I mean, the child conceiving, and if they get married to their own cousin, in future, you never know after 50 years, 100 years what happens. So just to stop this aspect, the government has decided that one donor cannot donate to more than one couple, commissioning couple, right? That is first change. The second change is because donation is slightly risky aspect, and there is some risk which may happen on the egg donor, and that is why they have said that the egg donor cannot donate more than once in her lifetime.
Okay.
So these are the two major changes that has been made. The third thing, as I said, the safety of the donor is kept paramount when this act was made or designed. So now there has to be an insurance cover for the egg donor, जो couple को लेना पड़ेगा for a period of 12 months. There has to be a life and a health insurance cover which the couple takes for the egg donor, right? And they have to declare on affidavit that if the donor has any health issues and requiring any treatment for the period of 12 months, Joe, because of the egg donation process, then the couple has to guarantee on affidavit notarized that they will cover each and every expense. So the law actually has kind of safeguarded the donor's health, not let them donate once in the lifetime, also restricted the number of eggs which the donor can give so that the clinics use mild dose to stimulate the donor, and the affidavit and the life insurance takes care of any complications that may happen after the egg donation process is concluded.
That's quite nice. In fact, I think it's actually, it brings in more safety for the donors, which is important because,
True.
end of the day, it is their health which should not compromise. So I
Correct.
think that is a fantastic move by the government. And if you also look at a lot of couples, they go through failed IVF and then they need to opt out for an option like a surrogacy treatment. So, what are the kind of couples who can go in for it? What is the criteria for it? Because I think, honestly speaking, I have been approached by a lot of friends of mine gone through failed IVF and they want to go in for a surrogacy, but then they're scared because they think कि अब तो surrogacy India में banned है. So करेंगे तो news में आएंगे तो क्या करना चाहिए? So a lot of people have this question in their mind. So I'm sure that you will be able to answer that for all of us.
So I think India at one point of time kind of became the surrogacy capital of the world, right? So it's like you are selling the Indian womb, to people outside India. That was the image that was portrayed. And obviously, the government came with a law in 2018 where they stopped international patients undergoing surrogacy in India, right? And then this law came in 2021. तो इस लॉ में जो चेंजेस हैं वो ये हुए हैं कि just anyone cannot go for a surrogacy because they feel that they need a surrogacy, or they think that I cannot go for IVF, or they think कि I don't want to go for a pregnancy क्योंकि मेरा फिगर खराब हो जाएगा and I should go for a surrogacy. They cannot. Now there are rules and regulations. They have to qualify on that rules and regulation. The first and foremost is the age. So in the surrogacy, the female age has to be between 23 to 50 years, and the male age has to be between 26 to 55 years. This is the first criteria. Single females are also allowed to undergo surrogacy, but their age has to be between 35 to 45, and they have to be either widow or divorcee. These are the only two types of females who can undergo a surrogacy. No other females can undergo a surrogacy, and they have to be 35 to 45. So this is, and males cannot, of course, undergo a surrogacy. So these are the criteria that have been changed in the law.
Wow, that's interesting. Nice. And if we look at mothers who are willing to become a surrogate mother, I still
Right. So
know that there are many women, even in, we see rural areas wherein they feel that, they under circumstances, financial circumstances, wherein they think that opting for it is probably a method for them to, make money or, whatever. So, उस case में क्या criteria? Who are the ones who can actually go in to become a surrogate mother?
right. So one biggest change that the law has brought into place is stop the commercialization, because this is kind of organ donation, similar to the or inspired from the Organ Donation Act, which also came in India because लोगों की किडनी बिक रही थी और ये सब चीजें हो रही थी, and globally speaking, there is a law and act which prevents the trading of the human organs, right? And the government has treated this surrogacy act similar to the organ donation act, and they have put in restriction that it has to be completely altruistic. There has to be no commercial angle to it. You cannot give money, you cannot give any kindness or any kind of thing to a surrogate mother. It has to be a willing surrogate mother who's ready to donate. The surrogate mother age is also defined between 23 to 35, 25 to 35. She has to be married. She has to have a child, and obviously the Indian origin. And the same is defined for the surrogacy. For international couples or females, it is not allowed. The couples have to be of Indian origin, and the surrogate mother has to be healthy, psychological normal, and there is an evaluation and a certificate required for that also. Plus, the surrogate has to have insurance cover and a death cover of 3 years. Now, here it is 3 years. And again, any complication happen, there has to be affidavit in place to declare from the couple that I will take care of any expense that comes because of this procedure, right? So just anyone cannot be a surrogate mother now. It has to be completely altruistic in nature. There has to be no commercial arrangement at all.
But just tell me generally, just as a discussion, why will a woman come forward for something like this? When we are stopping commercial surrogacy, somebody who's married, who has kids, how will she come forward and be willing to become a surrogate mother? ढूंढेंगे कैसे, मिलेंगे कैसे?
It's a very difficult area and a gray area to answer this question, right? But eventually, maybe there might not be any willing women to donate further. You will have to look around you and find known, female who's ready to become a surrogate for you. I
So
think that's the only way
couple
forward.
has to look for one and then bring along and say कि ये है और ये willing है. Is that so?
So another thing is there is no anonymity in surrogacy. So you can bring your known surrogates. You can get your own relatives. Anyone who can, be a surrogate for you, that is allowed. But no commercialization at all.
I think it is going to be quite a task for couples to actually find one जो अपने willingness से जो है आए और बोलें कि okay, I am ready to become a surrogate mother for you.
Yeah.
So my best wishes to all those couples. Also, can a single man or a woman go in for surrogacy?
Right. So single female, as I already told you, a widower or a divorcee between the age group of 35 to 45 can undergo a surrogacy, right? But when it comes to males are actually not allowed to undergo surrogacy. And I think the inspiration is taken from Adoption Act, because when it comes to Adoption Act, it says that a male cannot adopt a female child, right?
Yeah.
And now when it comes to IVF, you don't know the sex of the child before the treatment, right? So I think the inspiration is taken from in the Adoption Act, and that's why there is no provision in the act where a male can actually go for a surrogacy. So males cannot, a single male, a man cannot go for a surrogacy procedure.
And if we talk about homosexual couples, what about them?
Yeah, so the act clearly says married Indian married couple, right? So when it says Indian married couple, because the gay marriages and this is actually not kind of legalized in India. I mean, they are recognized but not legalized, right? So when it comes to, ART or the Surrogacy Act, it says, married Indian married couples only can go for this.
इंटरेस्टिंग सो आई थिंक अ लॉट ऑफ दिस तो एक्चुअली जब ये एआरटी लॉ बना ये कौन से साल में बना
ART law actually passed out in December 2021.
सो आई थिंक ये बहुत ही अच्छा हुआ बिकॉज इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं जो होनी जरूरी थी और काफी एरियाज मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि थोड़े से चैलेंजिंग भी होंगे फॉर कपल्स हु आर एक्चुअली फेसिंग अ लॉट ऑफ डिफिकल्टी इन गोइंग थ्रू आईवीएफ प्रेगनेंसी और the age limit is such wherein IVF is a challenge for them. Also, अभी recent news हमने देखा था कि the surrogacy law has been modified. तो जो latest modification है वो हम जानना चाहेंगे कि वो क्या है
तो पहले सरोगेसी लॉ ये बोलता था कि अगर एक कपल सरोगेसी के लिए जा रहा है तो अंडा जो है वो वाइफ का होना चाहिए, स्पर्म जो है वो हस्बैंड का होना चाहिए, सेल्फ गैमेट्स. बट देर आर लॉट ऑफ दीज कपल्स जहां पर फीमेल्स हैव मल्टीपल ट्राइड आईवीएफ साइकिल्स और उनके एग्स या तो बनते नहीं है या बहुत कम बनते हैं, या जो एम्ब्रियो की क्वालिटी है वो खराब है और खुद के एग से वो कंसीव नहीं करना चाहते हैं. देर आर सम फीमेल्स जहां पर प्री मेच्योर ओवेरियन फेलियर हो गया है, ओवरीज में एग्स ही नहीं बन रहे हैं. देर आर सम फीमेल हु आर बॉर्न विथ यूट्रस नहीं है, ओवरीज भी डेवलप नहीं है, अंडे शुरू से ही नहीं बनते हैं कभी भी. Right, so all these different cases or different kind of females who are trying to conceive but they are unable to conceive because of the uterus problem also, और egg का भी कुछ ना कुछ problem है, या तो बन नहीं रहा है या अगर बन रहा है तो उसकी quality खराब है, या जो embryo बन रहा है is bad quality because the egg is not good. So these kind of couples actually cannot go for surrogacy as per the previous act. There was few cases in the Supreme Court, and these cases were presented. These unique cases were presented in the court, and the court also, came up with this thing that the government should look at this act again and should, do the modification to take care of these particular types of couple. तो अभी जो नया notification which the government has released, उसमें यही हुआ है कि अगर जो लोकल मेडिकल बोर्ड है जहां पर कपल को सरोगेसी के लिए अप्लाई करना पड़ता है, अगर उस बोर्ड को ये लगता है कि ये कपल में से किसी को डोनर गैमीट का जरूरत है, दे हैव द ऑथोरिटी टू अलाउ अ कपल टू अंडरगो अ सरोगेसी यूजिंग वन डोनर गैमीट. दे कैनॉट यूज बोथ द डोनर गैमीट्स, बट either a male or either a female, one of them can be a donor with the permission of the district medical board where they apply. That this is the what the change has come, in the new notification of surrogacy.
Okay. And say suppose majority cases we see females having a lot of issues considering the age, as well. So उस case में फिर looking for an egg donor would be through the ART bank or they'll have to again get somebody who's known to them.
So चाहे known हो या unknown हो, the donation has to be through the ART bank. I mean, routed through the ART bank. So they can get their known donors. They can source a donor from the ART bank. When it comes to donation, surrogacy law and ART law is the same. You have to follow through the bank. So, and known and unknown donors, married, unmarried, everything is allowed. You just have to follow the criteria of the age of the donor.
And if somebody is willing to donate their eggs or donate the sperms, again, there is no commercialization involved in it, right?
Yes, yes, there is no
So
commercial.
now the question will be, why would they be willing to come forward to, undergo so many, injections or hormones and then come forward to donate their eggs? Why will the woman be willing to do that?
Again, that's the question, right? It has to be more awareness has to be generated that you are giving life, to a couple who's unable to conceive. And see, this rule is not in India. Even if you look at, Europe and UK, these countries, again, there is no commercialization because at the end of the day, these are, human gametes. You can't trade
Yeah.
human gametes for money,
Yes.
right? And these regulations exist in the Western world also.
True. Absolutely. So I think in a way it's quite good. Whatever laws have been made, I totally am in support of them. And I think कि actually if we look at human rights, तो कहीं ना कहीं ये एक तरह से चीजों को streamline करेगा. And जो भी I think if we look at so many celebrity couples who are undergoing surrogacy, और एकदम से we saw India made started booming, wherein normal people also were getting inspired and thinking कि यार नहीं, I will also just go in for a surrogacy instead of planning a natural pregnancy or going in for an IVF. So I think ये सही टाइम पे लॉ आया है, बहुत जरूरी भी था, और इसमें बहुत समय तक कुछ क्लैरिटी नहीं थी, बट आज आपके साथ बात करके हमको एक बहुत अच्छा क्लैरिटी भी मिला है कि एक्चुअली इस लॉ के अंदर क्या क्या चीजें हैं, so that people understand, because I think still there are so many couples who still want कि उनको surrogacy ही as an option मिले. If we see women, there are lots of women, lots of couples who don't want to undergo IVF. They feel कि IVF किया, first attempt होगा नहीं होगा, fail होगा. Majority cases में भी see कि second attempt के लिए भी जाना पड़ता है. So they feel कि let's just directly go in for a surrogacy. I have really seen this, coming in from a lot of women. So इसीलिए what's your take on that?
Uh,
Of course,
I
having your own, I think one of the largest IVF chains in India. So what is your take on that?
uh, मुझे सिंपल एक चीज है, whatever exists, right? It should not be exploited. Even if it's a technology, the technology is there to, help couples to conceive, right? It should not be abused. It should not be, people should not be exploited because of technology, right? It should be used in the right way for which it was invented. मुझे ऐसा लगता है. And somehow, it was kind of been abused, which I think the government realized.
Yeah.
And that is why the government, brought this law into place just to make sure that the technology is used for the right purpose it is invented.
Yes. So absolutely wonderful it was chatting with you. So thank you so much for sparing time. Any takeaway message that you want to give away to people? I think yeah, somebody is also mentioning कि you should adopt a child if possible. So I think कहीं ना कहीं शायद ये law जो है adoption को भी और ज़्यादा encourage करेगा. So I think in a way it is very very good. So any final message that you would like to give to the audience here?
I think the government is very progressive. काफी सारे notifications आए हैं, after the act came into place, and there have been changes, and the government is ready to realize and accept that, some modification will be required, and they are, helpful in acting in the right manner and the right way, which is very constructive. And I think, anything that comes new, उसके अपने challenges होते हैं. Everyone cannot think about each and every situation. There will be situations coming in the future where there has to be changes made in the provisions of the act. And I think with the committee and with the national board representing both the sides, which is the government and the clinic and the patient side, the necessary changes, whatever is required, will be suggested, and the government is willing to make those changes. So I think uh, people just need to control their nerves and settle down. Things will change in future, and we just have to stick to the best practices. At the end of the day, the law is made for the safety of patients, donors, and the people involved in this, and at the same time increase the standard of the care of IVF treatment in India by registering these clinic and ensuring certain standard manpower and equipment available at these clinics. So I think overall it is good for the Indian market, also good to attract foreigner medical tourism in India for IVF, because now there is a law in place and things has to be as per the law. Thank you.
Perfect. So thanks a lot for sparing time. It was lovely chatting with you. And I hope कि हमारी audience में से भी बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिन लोगों को accurate information आपके जरिए मिला है, because people were confused. And I hope they'll be able to pass on the right kind of message to their friends and family members. And in case anybody is looking in for undergoing IVF, of course, we know that Indira IVF option is always there. So thank you so much, Nitiz, for sparing time and being a part of this lovely chat discussion. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mahi. Bye.
Bye bye.